Yeah, you guys do a good job tagging all your friends to be a part of this. It is Gulf Coast Racing Series. We are getting set for 2022. And you have been waiting. You've been telling us you want updates. And we don't mess around. We do updates the right way, not a press release. We're going full bore. We are zooming. Gina Shile Knowles is in Mobile, Alabama. I'm Rodney Rodriguez. I'm in Texas, and we're about to get cold. Gina, is it cold there yet, my friend? You're
not yet.
No, not you're further over to the left, I guess, than I am. But it's
supposed to get colder than Houston, I believe. But it's 62 right now. But it's going down.
Yeah. Suntan weather still. Sun tanning weather still happening. So, Gina, let's talk about. But before we're going to jump in, I do want to recap 20. And I know we've done this before, but let's recap 2021. You jump into the Mobile venture, and Houston, always a challenge. We'll talk about all of that later on. But just your thoughts on 2021 now that you've had time to sit back and let that thing digest on you.
Man, it was a challenge, that's for sure. But it was very rewarding on the same side of it. It was a lot harder than I thought. I knew we would be facing challenges facility-wise because there were so many unknowns, employee-wise, things like that. But man, I could not be more proud of the team that we have, Rodney. It's such a team effort. It is such a beast. Race week is just one of those weeks when you, after the race, you literally, the beer just tastes awesome. You know, one beer, I mean, when you finally are done and the racing was good and you know, it was very rewarding and you know, it needed to be that because it was super stressful.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, and people just do not realize everything that goes into it. So we are at 6 o'clock.
And I taxed our team. I really spread them thin, and they stepped up, and I greatly appreciate that. It's so important, and it's very hard, you know, to do it. But we have done so much, Ronnie. I think back of where we started, and where we are now is, and we've done it in what? In a short period of time. We had to learn fast. We had to adapt to what was going on and all the challenges. And I think that, you know, we struggled, but I don't think that struggle showed. I think we learned, and, you know, we still have a lot to learn. We make mistakes, but bottom line is everyone is on the same page with where I want to be. And that is about the sport and about the racers. We're promoting the sport and, you know, adding value for the racers, you know, to sell and presenting the show, you know, to fans. That's super important is looking at how are we going to present this show to the fans.
Yeah.
That's I'm excited.
That's a big part. And we've got folks checking in from New York. I mean, that's good. That's impressive. I like that.
Okay.
And one of the things, I mean, Gina, let's talk about this. We'll drop this schedule coming up. I mean, we're at 6:04. So let's give folks just a little bit of time. We got a bunch of folks because we're on the Gulf Coast page. We're on the Revved Up website and the Revved Up Facebook page as well. So we're kind of triple streaming here. So let some folks jump on here. But Gina, okay. When you talk about the infancy of growing this, I use the reference a lot of times to something that's brand new. I use the baby deer thing. You know, like when you got a brand new deer that's coming out and it's making steps, slips and falls, hits its chin, jumps back up, gets going again. That's really what this has been, because financial challenges, facilities, this thing we call COVID. This is really what the Texas Short Track Racing Series / Gulf Coast Racing Series has been, because it's been that way from the get-go.
Yes, our really the year that was going to be, you know, we took it over mid-season, right, 2019, and we had to race scheduled races, and you know, I went to Advanced Auto Parts and they gave me a very minimal amount of money because it was last minute. and we still had, I think, 6 races to fulfill in that schedule. And it was crazy. I think it may be 5. I don't recall, but it was crazy. And we made it work. And I was so excited. We had so many cool things in place for 2020. We sanctioned with NASCAR, and then we had COVID. And then we had all the political challenges for the election with NASCAR and, all of that. It was like, man, let me tell you, if something is easy that I do, I have to overthink it, because there is not one thing that I have not been challenged on. It's just like, but hey, I think that any other way though, Rodney, we would not have learned so fast and, had the success that we've had.
I mean, it has been. I mean, it's been flying by the seat of your pants. And I mean, the thing for you, what's so great that I appreciate with you and so many promoters. I mean, you and Marianne Nauman are kind of the staples that I see. I mean, you're both ladies, and you do a great job. But what you do is you appreciate your team. When you're done after race night, it may be on Monday, whatever it may be, you reach out, you thank them, you applaud. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we can get better here, whatever. But I mean, that's a really hard part of it. And but we'll get to nuts and bolts of that. But people are jumping on. We've got a bunch of them right now. So let's go ahead. Let's go in right now. Here is your 2022 Gulf Coast Racing Series schedule right in front of you there, and sit there, take that. Screen grab. Do whatever you're going to do right there, because that is what you have. There's your Houston dates. There's your Mobile dates. Obviously, the Mobile dates heavier than the Houston dates, and we'll talk about that moving forward here in just a little bit. But Gina, explain the schedule. I really like what you did this year, because I know last year it was intimidating because it was more of a collaborative thing, but now it's broken up. Each track's going to have its own champions. You can have tour dates that are going to be coming in. You don't have to race them both. You have simplified this quite a bit.
Right. And I want it to be understood, because how we built this out is so, the racers can race both tracks. They can just race their local track, or they can say, you know what, let's budget to travel to 2 races. Let's hit the tour nights, take advantage of the discounts and the extras for the tour nights, and, try the track. That's what I like. We had a lot of people come and race from other places, and I like that, and I want to keep that going, because that makes a big difference. I mean, whether you get 1 car or 2 cars, usually when a racer comes and races with you and they enjoy it and they go back, a racer's listening that wants to kick that guy's ass and said, if he went and he did that good, I'm going to go over there and do better. I want that generated to keep it going. That's positive momentum.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I like there, especially about on the Mobile side, and I wish that we had this luxury in Houston, is that you do have, you've got the pure stocks and the sportsmen. Those are the ones, that's the benchmark of the schedule. All these other classes are great, but those are the ones, they've shown up. They're the ones that have really built that. And I think it's great. Because that's, the people come out and they want to see those. That is a stock car class.
Yep, that is. And we're doing a lot of promotional things with them this year, and I put them on every race. They're very important to the success of this track. And I want them to know that, and we're going to build a good program around them. They are the meats and potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. I do see some questions there. I'm kind of jumping ahead right here, but I know that one of the struggles that we've had, Gina, here for a while in Texas, has been that super stock class, and we've watched the adamant there of the Wheelman Series, and now that continues to blossom. And they're racing now. They've got a race in. They're racing in Florida. It's a very strong class, and it Ricky Brooks at the helm there, and you and Ricky have kind of been working together to do some stuff. And I think one of the things to maybe save that class for the Texans, because there are a few, there should be more, because there are a bunch of those cars, but don't get me started. But so talk about that, with working with Ricky for the super stock / when people see WMS, that's an effort to save our Texas super stocks and grow the Wheelman Series.
Correct. What we did is I had a racer call me and say, man, what are we going to do with these guys? What is this? And I don't know rules, and getting people to read the rules and look at other rules and explain to me how where this class fits in with this class over here or this class over here. That's what I need help with. Well, one racer did that. I said, find a class that if at all the tracks around Mobile and bring it to me, and let's look at it and see what we can do to keep the super stocks going. And the Wheelman was brought to me and was the closest option. I reached out to Ricky. He said it might be doable. Let's visit it. Russo had 2 cars. She looked at it and said yes. So we've got kind of a collaboration. We're doing a call, in fact, right after this, to develop the rules for Houston, which would be a hybrid set of rules for the Wheelman series for this year only. And these guys have to, convert by 2023 to the full-blown Wheelman rules. And I want to run, of course, the super stocks will become that at Houston. And at Mobile, we'll have this class. And we just kind of have to plug it in. I don't want to plug it in a way that it's going to take away from, the Florida guys. But my ultimate goal, because they are running at OP this year, June 4th, is to get our momentum going and to contribute to the show at John's place at South Alabama, and give our guys, a taste of a good series. I mean, it's good racing. Ultimately, to have the same thing between us and OP in with these Wheelman sportsmen that they have in Florida. So we're competing on points, and they're competing on points. And there's a Alabama championship and a Texas champion. I mean, a Alabama championship and a Florida championship, right? Yeah. And the way to hit those marks would be to go try one race at Mobile or go run. We'll just, there's some guys that will go for that top dog position, and it will require them to do a little bit of traveling to get more points than what they can get on their local shows. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's what it turns into. We have hurdles right now going through the rules, but that is the goal, is to enhance his series.
Yeah, that's right. And you mentioned that op race on June the 4th, and that's huge right there, because an opportunity there. But I think going back to our trucks, as you and I think you and I both kind of have you and I both kind of have a hard on here for these trucks, because it's like you've got supers, you've got pros, you've got all of this. The trucks just don't have it, but we as a team want to grow that. And what a great opportunity right here. I mean, and this is where the Texans, if you can't make a bunch of races in Mobile, go to OP. Go do this, because you're going to be on a grand stage right here.
And OP is not, there's not as many obstacles to overcome for a half mile than there would be for Mobile. OP is very much like Houston. I know when Mason and Bo ran a pro late model there, they said it was a very similar setup. So I think that that will help. I think that a lot of our racers will like OP too. I set the class schedule up to where, modifieds run it OP. They run the same rules that we run. And I didn't overlap with the nights that John was running his modifieds, because I want to encourage our modified racers to go try it out. If you struggled with a half mile or whatever reason, go give OP a try on a modified night. Yeah. That's another thing I want to do.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it just, it helps the series. I mean, it expands the brand. I mean, I really think that it's a great opportunity. I mean, to where we may lack in Texas, I mean, let's grow the whole thing. And that's kind of been one of the things that you've charged yourself to do, and you've done a great job. I do want to touch on the legacies, because I know the legacies, they show up in Houston, and you gave them a couple opportunities in Mobile, and boom, there they are. I mean, they took a whole row right there, and it's a different class. And I mean, they're on the half mile at Mobile. They just kind of hum around there. But they put on a great show, and you've got stuff set up for them. There's opportunities there. I've talked to a bunch of people in Alabama that they saw those cars, and hell, they want one of those. Talk about those legacies and the impact that they may have moving forward as well.
Well, there's I think over here there's a tremendous opportunity for them. They were super popular. They created a buzz, but it's a delicate balance that we have to do, because a lot of them, people in Alabama, want to buy the cars, and the Texas guys are, just kind of sitting on them. But the Alabama guys are waiting to see how many races I can run.
Right.
I can't commit to that without the involvement of the whole class, because I will split the class if I'm not careful and have nothing, and ruin a really good class. That's a great car count at Houston, and it could be the same here. So we have to implement them slowly. So that's going to be a slow process, a challenge. We got to get everybody on board. But, the amount of times I can race at HMP is not a lot. And if it's not enough for you, and you plan on not traveling with a legacy and you want to sell it, then you better commit to the schedule this year and race them over here. And then, so it will sell, or you'll be able to keep the value. But if they don't, and they only run at Houston, it's going to split the class. Now, I'm not saying these guys have to run every race. I have them on the schedule. I put them on the schedule when they said, a general census of when they could race. I might have added one or two, but that is totally adaptable. We can change.
Yeah.
I can alternate them with eco stocks, because we plan on growing the eco stocks here, just like at HMP, we did there too. So the legacies are unique. Over here, I want to work with the tracks over here up the road, and also up for a place to run them. Over here, these guys can run at every single track that is around within 2 hours of a mobile. One of them's 5 minutes.
Right, and
so I think it's a tremendous op.
I agree, and I think part of the challenge right there is with the Texas legacies. They've done a great job, because I know a lot of the backstory on that, where Mr. Huff and Nick Holt, they've gone in and they established their own group, because that was a dying class. And I mean, they went in there and they saved it, and they're independently run, versus the Allison legacy, which is the more, familiar name right there. So that's going to be a challenge right there. Kind of that whole super stock thing. I don't know the differences there, but for lots of reasons, people love that. I mean, people love those cars. I mean they're swift. I mean they're pretty smooth. It's a great class, and I think that's going to be something moving forward that's going to be really cool there. I do want to go to, because one of the hot topics that I get a lot, whether it be in private message or on my pages, is the NASCAR sanctioning. And where NASCAR sanctioning is really, it's great. NASCAR sanctioning is great when you are able to run 14, 15, 16 races. I mean, you think back to the Winston Racing Series days, where you could win a national championship. And for the Texans, maybe it was kind of rough here, because you paid all those fees and everything, but we couldn't do it in Texas. Let's talk about NASCAR sanctioning. What your thoughts on that? There's a lot of. It's so funny, Gina, because just when I think that I'm going to say, don't do it, I get one or two people that say, "Well, it's great," but decisions on that, and I know that's one that's really tough for you.
It's very tough for me, because ultimately that is everything that racers work for. Younger racers, that's the goal. That's the end goal. That's where they want to be. That's what your dream is, right? That's what the dream is. And so I struggled with NASCAR. I struggled with the sanctioning. In Houston, it was very logical, because Houston is very much a corporate driven town. And the challenges with a racetrack and asphalt oval in Houston is everybody assumed it was a dog track or a horse track before they, you said it was asphalt oval. So that NASCAR brand instantly, we run like NASCAR. Oh yeah. So it made sense in Houston to do it. When NASCAR kind of got political and some things were happening, it became challenging to have that brand, because of comments on Facebook, and you always had to monitor stuff. And it just kind of, just went the wrong direction. I will say this. Their short track program that Advanced Auto Parts sponsors is very, very good. If it is sold right, and they pitch it to these tracks correctly, it can be a big thing, because the power of their short track program is having multiple tracks utilizing it. And I still am a firm believer in that, very much so. I hope it comes back around, but I cannot keep pushing it and trying to win back the fans and convince the racers this is smart. I can't keep doing it. And honestly, the price tag for Houston, it makes something that's already tremendously expensive even more expensive. And it just didn't have the payouts or the benefits that we needed. And you have to run a minimum of 6 races, and I don't have 6 races at Houston. Mm-hmm. Now, I did email them and tell them, and I was hoping that NASCAR would go, holy crap, and look at their map and go, we're going to have nothing in Texas, no short track at all in Texas, and holy cow, we're not going to have one short track in Alabama. We can't let this happen. Let's figure out how we can make this work. That was my hope. That's where NASCAR falls short. When you have to go to the Coliseum and use money to put in that racetrack in the center, I get it. That's pretty cool. I want to watch it, but you don't work your short track program well. There's an imbalance that is stunting their growth. They have to understand that all the fans that they lost and that makes them strong are at every short track around this nation, because race fans don't stop watching racing. They stop watching NASCAR. And it fell in our lap as promoters and racers and, announcers to win those fans back over and to educate the fans on what our guys, how they contribute to NASCAR. NASCAR doesn't see that because they're looking and reaching for other things, next gen and all that. They're sitting on it and they don't even know it. Yeah. And that, to me, that was the hardest thing to let go of, because it's almost one of those, you just are such a believer in it because it will work. The program will work. You just have to work it. It plugs right together.
If I were them, and I've told people this in private before, if I were them, I would be blowing up dirt tracks. I would be blowing up Cotton Bowl Speedway for one. Our friend Marianne that we mentioned. Yeah. I would be, as many races as they have. If I were the NASCAR Roots program, I would be sanctioning that racetrack right there, because there's your basis right there between the Houston. If you were able to have more dates, those two, man, my goodness, you're right there along that corridor. But that's another question. But you hit the nail on the head there. They're missing it. I mean, they just don't get it. And
it's right under their nose. And you know what? I don't mind selling it for them. I really don't. But you know what? They make it very, very hard. They make it super hard. You don't really get a lot of support. And I understand there's challenges I don't even know they're dealing with, and they're probably spread super thin. They probably have big things to focus on. Sure. But when you do that, you lose focus of what you built the whole program on, and that was the short tracks. I mean, all of everything that makes NASCAR great, those guys came from somewhere. They need to remember that.
Well,
and look there again.
And we're going to talk about the Houston challenges here in just a minute. But I guarantee you one thing: if I were Dean Baker, it's sitting in my office, and the phone rang, and it said Daytona Beach, Florida, and people were calling me wanting to run an ARCA race, ARCA West, or whatever it may be, I'd take that call. but NASCAR's not doing that, and that's not a slight at them. That is not a slight at them. But at the same time, it kind of is.
Well, they just have to work the program. The program's strength lies in teaching the tracks how to utilize it so the racers get the full benefit of the cost of it, because it is expensive to the promoter, but that return gets paid out on the points fund. When you have a full season and it works right, it is very good. But you would want the tracks that are close to each other to sanction their division the same. That's super, super important. And it blows me away that I could go on all night. It'll come back around. But let me tell you, that's something I did not give up easily. That's one of those go down with a ship type things to me. I like that.
It's powerful.
And that, I believe. It is.
People, I mean, the whole thing is, that's how you attract the new people. They see NASCAR on TV, especially with this Coliseum thing and everything, the Daytona 500, all that. The new people will be attracted to NASCAR. And that's, That's a big debate right there. But I mean,
Yeah.
I totally respect that, because for the money that you spend, which I know how much you have spent on that, that is a great decision. So right there, no NASCAR sanctioning. Hopefully you're a fan of that. We're going to get out there, and the whole thing is all of that money. All of that money that you have spent, and I'm not going to throw that number out because I know what it has been. That's going into the purse. So
Yep.
for racetracks,
And that's the biggest complaint from the racers, both at HMP and here. HMP is a challenge. Here we were new, we were filling out, we didn't have grandstands, a lot of them. So, you know, I can put that back into the purse. I'm excited about, you know, our plans for this year. I think
agree.
they're going to love them.
I agree. This year, let's go to 2022. You know, the landscape, I mean, we can talk about, I mean, grand plans, everything. We don't know what the future holds.
Nope.
It's been a challenge for you.
Right here.
We've had tire shortages. I mean, guys trying to get parts. I mean, just everything.
Yep.
I mean, speak to that. I mean, we can do everything that we can, but folks gotta be flexible, because we don't know what's coming here. Whether it be labor shortages or getting stuff to where it needs to be, we need to be prepared to be delayed, possibly.
Yep. Well, we just have to roll with the punches. It's a crazy time. I mean, just look at what we're going through now with the was it Omicron or
yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we were in racing season, that impacts the promoters tremendously, you know, and you have to make calls accordingly. Yeah, we can race. I want to race. We're going to race. Yeah, but you have to look at it from a business standpoint. Automatically, the landscape that we're in as a nation, we got half of the amount of people coming out. And whether people say, oh, they're not scared, they are still scared to come. And we're still not at capacity. And I get sick of even talking about it. I feel like it's an excuse and a crutch, but bottom line, it is a fact. It has impacted everything. And now we're going into the, or, you know, in this year where, you know, there's rumblings of parts, you know, struggling getting parts. And I'm starting to see it happen more and more. You heard about it last year. You know, it's happening. Tires were a struggle last year. They're going to still be a struggle. Mm-hmm. That nylon is what they're having problems getting. Now, we were lucky, and Dan at Day handled our orders and turned them in, and we were allocated. What the struggle with American Racer is, if I add races or do something different, they can't be accommodated. So we're good on what we have, but it's still we just don't know what we're going to face. Sponsors are hesitant. We have to structure sponsorships totally different than we did before, because you know you just don't know. You might be going full bang and going great, and then you know you have to shut down for 2 weeks. It's crazy. It's a crazy environment, but as long as the racers, we roll with the punches, and you understand that things might change, or classes might, you know, something might change. It's because of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a totally different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and it
I think
is.
It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, I think so too. And the thing with the virus, I mean, I've seen many a good man and woman be taken down with this. And I mean, whatever your thoughts are,
yeah.
I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, it's kind of crazy, you know, to think about that. And we can, you know, we can think whatever we want to think, but I see a lot of discussion going on there about the NASCAR sanctioning. There are positives to it, but I just do want to briefly touch on that again. I just think that it's a great opportunity for the series to, I mean, it's rolling the dice. You are rolling the dice, but you're saving folks some money, hopefully affording them the opportunity to come to Houston or Mobile to be able to race some more.
Yes. And that was a very hard decision. But again, if NASCAR sits down and they look at that map of the United States, I wish I had it so I could hold it up, and they see nothing in the South. Guys, you got the fourth largest city. Is Houston the fourth largest or the third largest? Is it third largest now?
I think it's the third. Yeah.
Anyway, you've got a major metropolitan city. Yeah. Only sanctions. There's no short track sanctioned in Texas and none in Alabama. help me help you.
Well, and I agree.
So no,
And half the part
I can't do it.
you and I have shared messages where I was kind of irritated and pissed off that they couldn't get our map right. But that's water under the bridge. But anyway, we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are going to talk about Houston, because that's the one that I want the Texans to be able to know your thoughts on that. But
Yep.
I mean, just talk about you as a promoter. I mean, everything that you've had to do. There's lots of folks that have, whether it be on the financial side, on the labor side, you're having folks come out to work on bleachers, and just talk about that. I mean, I know that you were just a great promoter because you do a fantastic job, but hell, you love the help and you love everybody that's a part of everything that you do.
Yes. I mean, we can't do it without help. I mean, it makes all the difference, because you can't do it alone. I ask a lot of people, I ask a lot of questions, I share a lot of things to find out things and try to make, common sense moves,
Mhm.
common sense, everything. And, man, it's all challenging, Rodney. I'm not gonna lie, it's all
Oh, I know.
challenging, but it's come together. And once you're fully invested in it, man, there's just no turning back. Everything at HMP, and this is just HMP, everything at HMP is a challenge. The whole deal that we took over is my starting point, and that was not a good deal. It was not a good deal, and it was a gamble. And I thought that I could change that deal structure. And what I mean, I thought I could change the price tag of the rental fee. The rental fee is per event. I don't rent it by the month. I don't get it for a week. It's here's the check for the race on Saturday, and that gets the gate open. He comes and unlocks the gate, and that, kicks our butt. We have spent in 14 races almost $150,000 on rent. That's per event rent. And that is just to open the gate. More is paid out at the end of the night for the employees and the safety crew and all that to the track. So it's a lot. And what that does is it doesn't allow me to have a good size purse. And then you add the fact that I can only get like for a minimal amount of races, and I can't lower the overall purse and increase the individual purse by alternating the classes. You can't do that because no one would ever get to race.
Right.
It'd be, you can't do that. So it's not a healthy mixture. Now, that's not Dean's fault. The thing about it is he runs it as a business, and he bases it off of the drag strip success, and the drag strip's kicking butt. It's really bringing it in. So for him to close the drag strip, which you have to do at HMP, you can't run them both at the same time because they share the pits. For him to close the drag strip, he needs X amount of money to make it smart business, right? I can't change that. It is what it is. You can't fault him. He's running as a business, and it just impacts things, and it makes it harder to negotiate with him. I mean, we kind of go back and forth on some things, and but that's because when you're passionate about something, you want it to work. You hope that it will come around. It's not that it won't work. I just have to, in the beginning phase, you need the track owner to work with you,
right.
Because you've got to grow it. And the growth has been, stunted because of the dynamics. We don't get all of the concessions, nor do we influence what is sold, how it's sold, what the cost of goods are, or anything. So we average, maybe we're lucky to average $1,000. That just doesn't really contribute to anything, and we're talking about with you need a $15,000 purse or more, and that's still individually low, for the winner.
Yeah.
And it's just hard dynamics. Can we find sponsors for it? Yeah. But again, when you run 4 races, it's kind of hard. So you kind of have to step back and look at how to package it up and promote it. I did send an email to Dean and ask for a better deal. I made him a few offers. And I said, if you charge me this, I'll give you this, and I'll run 8 to 10 races. I doubt he'll take it. I haven't heard anything. It's been a week. But let me tell you something. I do everything possible, everything I can to make Houston work. And I have done that from the beginning because I feel tremendously guilty for, I hate this part, sorry.
No, it's okay.
For talking the racers into investing in their program, into using their tax return to buy a race car, to buying parts, pulling it out of the garage, get it racing, because they did bring it, and they gave me everything that they could, and I feel so guilty that I just can't make it work with the numbers at that track.
Yeah, but
I'm not giving up.
No,
we're going to try, and that's important to me.
And I think that's where people need to be, because I know. I mean, I've been on the racer side before, and it's so hard to 4 races. I mean, people are going to say they're going to bitch and complain about 4 races, and I talk to a lot of people that have great ideas. Great ideas. I'm going to ring. This is the Revved Up set. I'm going to ring the Brusso bell. I talk to a lot of people that have really, really good ideas on doing this stuff, but you got to piss or get off or shit or get off the pot is the best way to say it.
Yes,
because I know there's a lot of people that come to you, and it's like, let's do this, but Here, right here.
It's
empty pockets. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard, and you see that all the time.
It's a hard combination to make it work, and then you add, the landscape with COVID and everything, and we didn't get any discounts through COVID on rent. I still met that. We still did it. But we had some great positive momentum. I just couldn't add to it. He needs to work with me. But again, he runs it as a business. I get it. I get it. It just sucks. It really sucks. But let me tell you what I don't need. I don't need anyone calling Dean and asking him why I don't have more dates. I don't need them getting involved in my relationship. If you get involved, if you want to call Dean and get involved and find out what's going on, or you don't believe me when you call me and ask me, if you want to know, get out of my business unless you write me a check, is what I'm trying to say. Because all you're doing is making it worse. You're making it worse by calling and asking Dean and saying, why aren't you giving us races? And, you don't know the dynamics of what you're dealing with. So butt out. If you want to get involved, write a check. Send me a check. Let's work together. Be a sponsor. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
And I would dare to say, when you do that, when people want to go to Dean and question that relationship that you have with him, it's only hurting your dates. I mean, because Dean, Dean's going to hear the numbers. I mean, Dean's going to hear, okay. I mean, that's taking dates away from you, from people that may not have the ability to try to put that race, put events on. And I got to be honest with you. I'm a Texan, tried and true. And thank you to you. You've given me opportunities to do stuff outside of Texas, and my God, I'm going to be busy this year. But for the Texans, I mean, back off. I mean, come on. Put the eggs in your basket. Help you, and let's grow it that way. If it's going to happen, I think it's going to happen with Gulf Coast.
All we need is a little bit of a break on the rent price tag. It's astronomical. It is absolutely absurd. I get why it's there. Sure. But if I can't advertise, and advertising in Houston is expensive, we can't get that front gate up. It's Houston. It's a large city, and there are many, many, many options for families there on the weekends. Sure. We know who comes to the races. We know the regular numbers of not advertising. We know that because they're all racers and people that love racing. That's not enough. We did during COVID and advertise on the radio. We had the DJs there racing, we had great turnout for COVID. We really did. Wasn't great for a normal race time, but it was great for COVID. And I just got to be able to afford that. When you have a large rental fee, a large purse, and nothing on the concessions, and you don't advertise, that's a game. It's a killer. That's a killer.
Yeah. And just kind of two things right here at the end. I mean, number one, for anyone that is said, because I know a lot of folks have said, well, Gina's heart is in Mobile. After the last 5 minutes of this call, I don't think there's any question of where your heart is. I mean, your heart is in the racers. I mean, that's where it's all about. And right there, the emotion right there, that's not something you can dial up. I mean, your heart's in Texas. I mean, you're a Texan.
Well, all I can do is give them some place to race.
That's it.
With these super stocks, if we can get them transition, every class in Texas has somewhere to race. Mm-hmm. I might not be able to race a whole lot at HMP, but maybe I can run, a minimal amount of races there, and they can hit a couple and get that racing fix. That was the goal for me, is to, if I can't make Houston work, what can we do to make it survive? And Houston will survive with a sister track, to race some with.
Well said.
That's all we can do.
And here's what I tell the folks that question that. It's 4 or 0. You pick. That's up to you. And you grow that. So finally, I do want to ask you, so I did see it way back when we first popped up the schedule, and we'll do it here once again. There's your dates. So Houston, there's everything. You got your rain dates there. And there's Mobile and Houston combined, rules and so forth. I know that's something that's always
that's being uploaded now. We finished all those. Those are going to be uploaded. So all that'll be out. The class, do you have the class schedule up there? I can't see it.
Yep, it's there. Yep, everything is up there by event. Yep, everything is right there.
Yep. And let me tell you, with this schedule, I made it to where, again, I didn't run my modifieds. Oh, sorry. I didn't run the modifieds the same as when John is running his. So there's an opportunity for the mods to run at South Alabama or Op. I worked around the Modifieds of Mayhem because I know some of our guys, want to run there too. But I encourage them to run with us, support both tracks, because where we're going and what we're doing, I think there's going to be some really, really good racing. I want racers to come race here because they like it and we put on a good show. I want them to be proud of, racing here and the fans, and presenting the show, to those fans. It's good racing. It really is here. And I'm excited this year to kind of pare back and not run, 8 or 9 classes, and be able to focus on a class and really kind of interact with them. They have that big dice that's over here in the tech barn. Roll it on the front stretch. I'm excited to be able to incorporate the fans again into the show, because of COVID, it has been awful. That has been hard to do. And I feel like we just would show up and just run the racing. It was great racing, but there was no interaction with the fans. So I'm excited to get back to that. There's a lot of things that we're doing to incorporate that here at Mobile and at Houston, the on-track intermissions and stuff. So I think it's going to be a great year. I want racers to invest in racing with us. I won't take your commitment for granted. I can promise you that. If you commit to race with us, we will, run a structured show. We will tech like you're supposed to tech. We'll do everything we can to run a great program. Yeah. And if we make mistakes, which people do, we won't make it again. Bring it to us. We won't make it again. It is about, running a great show, presenting an end product to the fans that is good, and racers going home happy. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but honestly, that's what makes racing good.
It really is. And I think one of the things that you do so well at both tracks is you are so hands-on to where you're in the pits, You're thanking the racers for coming. I mean, you're in the grandstands. It's a, you know, I get to see racetracks everywhere, but you are a lady of the people. I mean, we talk about a man of the people. You get out there and you appreciate that because I mean, you've been there. You've been on every side of this. You've been in the stands. You've been as a car owner, as a mom, everything. You know the whole thing right here, and it just it reciprocates to the way that you run the operation. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about purse and all. A purse is important. I know, but that's a whole different discussion to where we need to get all that shit in order to where it doesn't cost so much to race. But it just seems so near and dear, and that's one of the reasons I love you and respect you so much. You love the fans, you love the drivers, you love everybody that comes out and supports the sport, not the track, not you, the sport.
Right. That's very, very, very important. And I'm just excited to be able to do that. I'm excited to be able to present racing. That's what makes it fun for me, because I remember what it is in my memory, and there's so many stories, and I want to catch that again. And we've got to remember that's the ultimate goal. Racers, when they come to a track, they're about where are we going to finish, and I want to win, I want to win. Always remember, you know, it's a show you're putting on too. You know, keep that in the back of your mind, you know, that it's about what the fans are seeing as well as you winning. Mm-hmm. So I think that we have that here, you know, at Mobile. There's just, I don't know, soul to this track that I love. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. You have ignited a fire down there or over there that is, really, really cool to be a part of, and I'm glad to be a part of your team, and I think everybody will echo that. But once again, here is your schedules, and this will all be posted on the Gulf Coast Facebook page and on the website. Everything right there. Final thoughts, Gina. I mean, it's been hurdles for you. I mean, I know the NASCAR thing has been tying. It's been kicking your ass. I know that. I know it's so hard to let go of that, but you talk about Advanced Auto Parts and all the conglomerate there of whether it be, you know, CarQuest and TechNet, everybody that's a part of this. You got a lot of folks that have stuck with you even through the tough times. Just talk about all the folks that they just want to keep kicking ass with you.
Man, I'm going to tell you, Advanced Auto Parts, again, from the very beginning, we couldn't do it without them. Without that, I couldn't have I couldn't have expanded to Mobile, you know, that I was able to stretch that for both tracks, and that makes a huge difference. I'll text Mike things. He probably thinks I'm crazy, you know, because I text him so much about, you know, planning what I want to do, because he was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And, you know, me, I'm like, here's what I want to do. We start here, go here. But I think that the direction is good, and I think he's excited. We've got, you know, all their brands. We have their 4 brands, which is TechNet, CarQuest Auto Parts, Advanced Auto Parts, and Advanced Professional. Can't go wrong with any of those. In Will Time, you know, Don Armstrong show.
Good people, yeah.
In Houston, yeah. I mean, they're awesome. They've got a huge reach. I try to share that as much as possible. We've got, you know, Mike Meekum, LD Systems. There's a lot of good people on board, a lot of things happening. We've got a new sponsor, Mobile Rock and Roll Offs. We're excited to kick that off. I'm talking to a lot of sponsors, and I'm excited about things coming together. It's taken a while, but things are finally starting to fit, you know, to take us, you know, in the direction we go. I'm so nervous and excited about it all because it has so much possibility.
Yeah. I agree. And I think one thing to talk about right there, folks that want to be a part of this, they need to contact you, whether it be on the website, whether it be on the Facebook page, whatever. I mean, if you really, and again, like we talked about with Houston, if you really want to be a part of this and really have criticism or ideas or whatever, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I mean, write some checks. I mean, be a part of it. Be a part of the series because it's going to grow and we continue to try to tie this thing together. And 22 is going to be good. We're going to be just fine.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you, I really dropped the ball in a lot of social media stuff this year. There's a lot of things I can do better. I was so overwhelmed with what I bit off that it was almost paralyzing. There was so much to do and so many loose ends that you had to focus on, especially when, we did Mobile and you have your concessions and everything. And man, I'm going to do better this year with that. Those are things that I like to do, have a personal touch I wasn't able to do. And that's so very important. But I appreciate the racers, appreciate them hanging with me, and we'll get there. And I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you with Mobile, you've got the community, you've got that whole region that's bought in, and that's great. And Texans, you need to stick with us. Texans, you have got to, Gina, they say you look hot tonight. I told you that before you jumped on.
Oh my God. Okay. But thank you. That makes an old lady feel good. I need that boost sometimes,
I told you
cocky edge.
I told you that before you jumped on. So one last look right there. There are your schedules. Final thoughts, Gina. Congratulations on getting this pulled off. I know that you and I, we get along so well because we do shit on paper. And I think that's why we do so well together.
I think it's our age, Rodney. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, probably so.
Yep. I'm excited. I'm very excited. We've got a long-term deal on Mobile, so we're in it. And we're going to grow it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. There it is. Gulf Coast Racing Series, your 2022 update. I think well worth it. Lots of dates. You Texans, hang around, stick around. It's going to be fine. Gina's doing all that she can to keep this thing going. But thanks for checking in, friends. Take this, share it, tell people what's going on at Mobile and at Houston with the Gulf Coast Racing Series. Absolutely. And Gina, here's some. This one, it's a song for you. It's called The Family Badass as we check out of here. Love it.
Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for all you do. Friends, we'll see you at the races. Absolutely. Gulf Coast Racing Series 2022 update.